talk about music. That's kind of really what I wanted it to be about. Just
All right, Alfie he's upset.
he wants to be
He
a part
says
of
hi
it.
too. Alfie, it's good.
He's our mascot, essentially.
Yeah.
We love it.
But yeah, I really wanted to have a kind of just like a conversation about music, just between three women who know music. You are in the music industry. I mean, your song is absolutely beautiful. It's so good.
Thank
Did you
you.
completely make it on your own?
No, I had my boyfriend, who is the drummer on the track, help me arrange it. I wrote all the chords, the lyrics are mine, but he helped me arrange it a little bit, and he put the drums on it, and we, put an actual bass player on it, and then I had the track taken to someone else, and Julian, and Julian Giamo is his name, and he is the one who produced it, or engineered it.
Wow.
Yeah.
It sounds so good. It doesn't even sound like, it sounds like you recorded it in like a full-blown studio. Like
No, the vocals are recorded like in a basement, like with like a regular mic, and it was Julian who just like made it really happen. Like I was amazed, like as when he did it, I was like, oh my goodness, this is really cool.
clearly, I mean, you have something to do with it too, because your vocals are just, absolutely stunning. It's a testament to you to be able to sing in a basement. Not a lot of, you could say, pop singers know how to do that. They can't work in their environment. And I think that's kind of the cool thing about smaller indie artists, is that they really work with the environment that they have. And you're in New York City, right?
Yes, I'm New York City based. However, I think the reason we got confused a little bit on the time is because I'm actually in Chicago right now.
Oh, so you're 2 hours ahead.
Yeah.
There we go.
So yeah, I think that's why we got.
Yeah, probably.
So I'm actually in Chicago right now. My parents live here, but I'm New York based. I have my place over there, and I've been there for about 2 years now, and I've met some really amazing people. I'm completing my degree in jazz vocal studies right now, and it's been a journey. It's been fun to like make the journey out there, like to the big city, and yeah, I mean, it's great.
Do you go to NYU?
No, I go to City College of New York.
Oh, nice. Do they have a good jazz studies program?
Yeah, they have a pretty good jazz studies program. I think for the most part, it's just like learning on the scene, like going out to different places and like meeting different people, and like a lot of the greatest musicians live out there and just are available for you to see them all the time. So they've become the teachers for me, I think.
It's really cool though.
Have you been able to like go perform anywhere this year at all?
I actually did a wedding gig in September, and that was like my last thing that I did. We did it in masks and everything, and it wasn't the ideal way you want to perform with like a mask, but I haven't, besides that, I haven't really performed anything. I wanted to get things out, and my goal for this year was to record my first song or songs, and get them out there to the world, and try to perform them. But because of COVID-19, it wasn't really possible, but it was possible to record. The song Lost in Time is about the feeling of being lost in time, like not really having a place. I felt like the beginning of COVID, we were like reliving the same day, seeing the same thing on the news every day, and like being in New York City, like all the protests were happening as well with the Black Lives Matter movement, and I felt like it was heavy. Like a lot of the losses were heavy. I was going out to the protests as well, and that's why the song says, basically like I'm here for you, or we're here for each other, is like the mutual, like we're gonna be here. It's like a hug to the people I couldn't hug, like virtual hugs, I guess.
I love that. Cool. Definitely necessary right now.
Yes.
We need all the songs about being sad, and
I need all the virtual
wanting to hug everyone.
Yeah.
So has it really kind of impacted your music? I mean, you probably have a lot more time to kind of work on what you want to work on, but at the same time, is it a little stressful?
It's both. Yeah, it's both because you think at the beginning of COVID, I had a lot of friends who were like, "Oh, it's time to write." It's shut down, so we have a lot of time to write things so quickly and now, and like you have all the space in the world. But I believe that things shut down and like a lot like some of my people like my friends mental health, my mental health included, kind of was like, this is insane. I was like a little bit triggered about it at first, and like it was hard to like uh to continue writing and continue being inspired while like it was hard to perform. You kept hearing about like just the losses of people on COVID-19. I had friends get it. So it was hard. It was a time of like reflection as well, I think.
Hmm.
So it definitely impacted my music in some way, and it helped me to write more, but it also I just gave me time to reflect. I think that
Yeah.
would be the definition. I think that
Yeah.
COVID-19 has had on music.
Yeah, we Ashley and I talk about this all the time about the kind of year we've had with music. Because on one hand, you have people like, I don't know, like Taylor Swift dropping 2 albums unexpectedly. You have musicians just seemingly coming out with music nonstop because they've had this time to kind of sit and reflect. But I think that also puts a lot of pressure on artists. I think it kind of forces them to maybe create music that's not truthful enough, because I think this whole period is a little scary. Um, and it'll be interesting to see, like, are you recording any songs for 2021?
I want to record songs for 2021. I think I'm getting my things together. I bought a microphone. I bought like some things to like set to learn about how to record myself
Mhm.
instead of trying to ask other people to help record, because that's also like hard. I think for I'm thinking about moving to Chicago again temporarily with my parents, um, just because of the I don't I'm unemployed right now. It seems like things may be looking up because of the vaccine, but they may very well stay the same.
Yeah.
So we have an indefinite future before us. So I'm gonna definitely try to like learn and I sing and songwrite with my piano all the time, but um, yeah, for now, I think I'm just gonna try to write as much as possible until I'm ready to like. I usually like performing my songs before I even record them because it gives me a feel of like, um, what am I really saying?
Do you like the audience feedback kind of to see
Yeah, I
how
like
they
the
react to it?
yeah.
Mhm.
The other thing that's been really nice about uh, I guess not nice, but the community. I have a poetry community that
Oh,
we
that's so
like
nice.
built, and everyone has. At the beginning of COVID, everyone was like doing the lives, like Instagram lives, and having people perform on the lives,
Yeah.
and that was so much fun because
Yeah.
it was an outlet all of a sudden, like to get things out there,
Hmm.
and that became really fun. And then all of a sudden, I feel like it became a little draining because
Yeah.
Yeah.
we were expected to perform all the time, and I was like, oh man, like tomorrow again. It was like, oh my goodness, like I have to come up with new stuff.
Which is
And
so funny you say that, because we've had the exact same experience as listeners. Like in the beginning, we were so excited. We're like, oh my gosh, we get to watch all our favorite bands play. And then after like week 5, we're like, "Ugh," you know,
yeah,
it
yeah,
got to a point
Yeah.
where it was like too much. We like
Well,
the
you kind of like,
excitement of
you miss
seeing.
the experience of like the live
Yeah.
experience of like being in the same room and like feeling the music. It's just the best. Like,
and
And the
feeling
community that is too, you know?
feeling the vibe of like the performer too. Like it's hard to feel that through a computer screen.
yeah.
What's really happening, what's really going on. So
Yeah, that emotional connection is very lost
it's very
over
important. Yes. Yep. It's
over
But
very
TV.
it's exciting. It's exciting though that you're making music and getting it out now for sure. Because then everyone can listen and get pumped up. And then once you're ready to perform and venues open again, hopefully soon.
Will come in drones.
Yeah. I actually do have a question. Your artwork for your single is awesome. Where did that come from?
Thank you. So I my tattoo artist, her name is you can find her on Instagram at curly.medusa, and her name is Angie. And she is one of the coolest people I think I've ever met in my life. And she tattooed this butterfly on my arm. I don't know if you can even see it.
Oh my gosh,
God, I love that. Yeah.
Oh,
so pretty.
Butterfly on my arm in October. Totally safe. It was safe to do it. I mean safe, mask on and everything. But she tattooed that on my arm and at her tattoo studio place. And I asked her right then, I felt such a good vibe from her. I was like, listen, I have this single that's coming out and I want you to tattoo, or I want you to do the single art for it. And I just explained like kind of what I wanted. I explained to her, like, I was watching this show, Hunter x Hunter, and I'm like a little bit of an anime nerd. And I one of the characters in the show, it has this like really cool superpower where he can throw like punches so quickly that they're like an illusion of time, kind of. So like that's why there's three of my face. And then I wanted the hair to be like as like flowy and like as weird, I think, as possible. And she just made my vision happen, and she was just like a pleasure to work with. It was just like so cool. I just kind of walked through like how I wanted the orange lips and the magenta colors and violet colors, and she just made it happen.
I love it. One of those where it like catches you immediately.
Yeah.
Like I think cover art is a lost art at this point.
I think cover art is so important. I talked to some friends about it, and I was like, I think that this cover art needs to be important. I think visual art is just as important as the song, because if you don't have like a super cool some visual to go with it, people are gonna be like, skip.
Yeah, exactly. We're all visual people. It's like judging books, when you look at them in the bookstore.
I definitely judge songs by their covers. I'll be like flipping through and stop on a song based on the
or if it's like not great, it's like a paint MS kind of cover, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no, I had a whole vision for it. I really wanted like something to like really stand out, so that if people saw it, they'll be like, oh, like it's like Violet, and her name is Violet, and then like I don't know, it looks super cool. So
and also it relates to like Lost in Time, and you're saying the time aspect with the lines of the face and the three faces. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It all comes together.
It all comes together when it's explained. People might not understand it at first, but like, I don't know, if you ask me, I'll tell you.
No, and really a little secretly nerdy, which we always love. We appreciate the secret nerds. So I have a question, because kind of throughout this journey, at the beginning, I was like very reluctant to get on like TikTok, because I was like, that is for young children and I'm too old to participate in such activities anymore. But I hopped on the bandwagon, and through that, I've actually discovered so many good artists, and ones that are like blowing up like in the actual music world, that now have songs on charts. And it's interesting what social media has done. So how does social media kind of help you, I guess?
Okay. I haven't hopped on the TikTok wagon. I've watched a lot of TikToks. I think Instagram has kind of become TikTok. It feels like all I see is TikTok videos now.
Yeah.
I've been trying to connect with my friends who I know currently, and like trying to spread my music through them first. Like, hey, listen to me, and then if you love it, like share it. I mean,
Yeah, like
I went back-
organically grow
Yeah,
first and
yeah.
then see what happens.
before I maybe like go, I've been like sending like emails and like also like personal text messages like, hey, so and so, how are you doing? Listen to my new song. And I've gotten a lot of positive feedback that way, and like a lot of people have been like really connecting with me that way. So and then they're the ones who do it. They're the ones who post it on their own stories on their Facebook. They reshare it, or on their Instagram, Snapchat stories, whatever it is, or they've been sending it to other people, and that's been really fun to experience. I've never experienced. This is my first like single out on Spotify and Apple Music, Amazon. I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm so excited, and that's been a really fun way. I don't know how. I think when I release more music, I'll try different outlets and see how TikTok maybe works. That would be a new platform. It's definitely intimidating to be like an independent artist, especially like just being me as like the promoter, the musician, the everything, and then having to go to Twitter to share, to Facebook, to Instagram, to Snapchat, to email, and
YouTube. I mean, like literally you could keep going for years.
Like the platforms is never ending. So I'm gonna try to take it bit by bit. I'm gonna try to just take it little by little. But first, I think it's important for all my friends to feel like she's going to say hi first. Like she's not gonna just throw music out there and like become a pop star.
It's real. It's a lot more real.
I want them to feel like, hey, she's authentic. She's doing what she wants to do.
Well, I think you definitely come across that way for sure.
Thank you.
I agree.
So let's see. Can you tell us a little bit about your background? I know you study jazz. Did you always want to do that?
No, I didn't know that I even liked jazz, to be honest.
Really?
I started piano when I was 7, and I always liked singing, like anything I heard on the radio. I would hear like the melody and like sing it back to my parents. And at first, it was like all the like the old music, like Aretha Franklin, or like Marvin Gaye, or even like country artists like Kenny Rogers. My mom had a Kenny Rogers.
My mom loves Kenny Rogers as well.
So anything, or Shakira, Paulina Rubio, a lot of Spanish artists too, because I'm Mexican American, and so I'm first generation American. So I just listened to a lot of Spanish music too. Shakira was my idol growing up. I just thought I wanted to be her. And then as soon as I started playing piano at 7, my idols became Alicia Keys, because I saw her on playing piano and singing, and I was like, oh my God, that's so amazing. Like, she's a female, she's beautiful, and she's playing piano and singing. And so my influences at first were like R&B and like popular music. That was like what I knew, and what my parents also exposed me to as a child. And then learning classical piano, that was my first instrument before voice was. And when I then started high school, I got introduced to choir music, and my choir teacher then was like, you're really good, you should try classical voice and classically train yourself. And so that's what I did. I classically trained myself for about 4 years when I was in high school. And that's maybe what I thought I wanted to do. And then I was like, I actually really hate classical music. I hate the repertoire. I don't like the repertoire, and I hated like the how to place everything in your head. And I was like, so I decided to go on a different route and explore jazz music, because that was the only other career that like was a thing in college, because my parents wanted me to go to college. They're like, you need to go do something with your life. So if it wasn't classical music, the only other thing I could study in music was jazz. So that's how I became introduced to it, just in like my last year of high school, kind of. And then just in college, I just became like a fanatic of like Ella Fitzgerald and Billie Holiday, Sarah Vaughan, Charlie Parker. I mean, just like all the jazz greats. Excuse me, all the jazz greats, and yeah, that's how I got introduced to it.
That's
So
amazing.
I didn't always want to do it.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because not a lot of people, in kind of our age range really listen to jazz. Like Ashley and I are kind of weirdos where we listened as children to Ella Fitzgerald and a lot of Frank Sinatra and
Yeah.
just jazz artists straight up that I think influences how we listen to music too, because I don't think a lot of people can appreciate what it takes to be a jazz singer. It's really hard.
It's really hard.
Um,
Yeah.
and you do it so, I mean, just jazz singers just do it effortlessly. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. Yeah, that's really cool that you went on
Yeah.
that path. I think it's
It was a journey to get where to find jazz music, and I'm so grateful that I finally got here. And I think maybe it was in the best way. It was basically my distaste of classical that I was like, I need to go somewhere different.
yeah. Now, do you listen to classical music at all nowadays?
No, not classical voice. I hate it, but I will listen. My most popular genre of Spotify, it was classical. It was jazz. Ella Fitzgerald. Actually, she was my top played Spotify on shoot. And I did like this survey, and it was like, "Are you okay?" Like,
Oh my gosh, the
a lot of Ella.
your music taste.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that one too, and I was like, "Wow, ouch!" They're like, "Are you okay? You listen to a lot of David Bowie," and I'm like, "I'm not okay. I'm not okay at all." Somebody help.
They did like, "Do you listen to Cecile McLaurin Salvant?" Ironically, and I was like, "No, that's on purpose." I love her.
I actually love that. That's so funny though. Spotify really comes and judges you at the end of every year.
Yeah, they really
you
do.
listen to 9,000 billion minutes of music. Are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm in a pandemic. What else am I doing?
Yeah. So many minutes.
Yeah.
Well, it was really nice chatting with you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think this will be, like I said, we're starting a little YouTube thing. We're starting our podcast. And anytime you have music, I would absolutely love to promote your whole being because you're
yeah.
wonderful. Like you are the nicest human being ever. And I'm so happy we got to chat.
Yay, I know, a virtual meetup is so fun.
I know.
And once the world opens up and you hold your first show in Chicago, we will come out because we'll go anywhere at this point.
Yeah.
We
Book
need
my
to get
flight
out
now.
of San Diego and out somewhere else. So I can't wait.
Thank you so much for having me. This is my first interview on my own music, and it's so fun to talk about my stories.
You have a great story. Everything about you is perfect. I adore you now.
Thank you.
The next time you release something, we'll have to have another chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we'll have you on the podcast to talk about more music because
that would be awesome.
A whole one on jazz music because we love to talk about it.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yes.
Let's do it. Okay, it's a date.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Happy New Year. I hope.
Oh yeah, Happy New Year.